Leadership visibility is not optional. And most leaders don't avoid content because they don't care. They avoid it because they care deeply. They care about their people, their reputation, and their credibility, and the responsibility that comes with being listened to. And somewhere along the way, content becomes framed as just noise, as a performance, as something beneath their real work. But here's the truth that most leaders never hear clearly. And I'm gonna tell you it because it's really important for you to understand working with me moving forward. If you are leading something meaningful, your clarity is already shaping people's decisions. Whether you choose to show up or not, silence is still some type of signal that you're putting out there. Every business, every organization, every movement is built on decisions. And decisions are built on trust, understanding, belief, clarity. And when the leader stays hidden, those signals don't disappear. What happens is they become fragmented. They get guessed at, they get dull, they get reinterpreted by others. And eventually, the message that matters most starts drifting away from the source. So this isn't about being on camera, this is about ownership. And what you need to take ownership of is the message, the standards, the story, and the direction people are following. Because when leaders don't communicate clearly, the teams begin to fill the gaps. Not because they're incapable, but because clarity has to live somewhere. And if it only lives in your head, it becomes fragmented. Legacy isn't built by doing. Legacy is built when your thinking can be carried by others. Your values show up consistently. Your message survives beyond your presence, and that requires translation. Not once, but systematically. The leaders who thrive in this work, making content, they're not louder, and it's not because they're more confident or more polished, better on camera or anything like that. They're simply willing to be seen clearly. Not perfect, not rehearsed, not performative, clear. Clear about what matters, clear about what doesn't matter, and clear about where they're going, and willing to let their team build around that clarity. So this training exists because leadership visibility is not a personality trait. I want to say that one more time. Being able to show up on camera and be authentic and powerful, that's not a personality trait. Now, some people can do it more naturally than others, and I will say that is definitely the case with some people, but it is a skill that we learn through practice and dedication. And it's also a responsibility. And like any other responsibility worth carrying, it deserves structure, support, and intention. This is where we start. Now, here's what's important to understand. You're not being asked to be good on camera overnight, and you're not being asked to suddenly enjoy content, and you're definitely not being asked to figure this out on your own. This work happens in layers. Over the next lessons, we're going to slow this down and make it practical. First, we'll break down why leaders get stuck on camera. Not in theory, but in real patterns I see over and over again inside of companies like yours. Then we'll walk through how to remove these blocks so showing up stops feeling heavy, forced, or mentally draining. From there, I'll walk you through the leadership content flow, how ideas move out of your head, into the system, and into your team without you carrying everything. You'll see how content can start working for you instead of you constantly working to make content happen. Along this training, our one-on-one sessions are where this becomes personal. That's where we refine your voice, clarify your message, and remove the specific friction points that are slowing you and your team down. Those sessions aren't about motivation, they're about precision. Seeing what actually is happening inside your business, naming it clearly, and making the right adjustments at the right time. And this is where leaders usually have the biggest breakthroughs, not just in content, but in how they communicate, delegate, and lead. If you've avoided this part of your career for a long time, that's okay. Most strong leaders do, because honestly, it's a pain in the ass. But the moment you stop resisting it and start approaching it with the system and support, something will shift. Content stops feeling like just random exposure, and it starts feeling more like alignment to who you are, your personality, your traits, and what you believe in. So in the next lesson, we'll start breaking this down step by step to get you fully prepared and get the most out of our one-on-ones.